Namaste. Welcome to Buddha's teaching. Today we continue study, exploration into life, into our mind, which is the main essential in Buddha's teaching. As the mind goes, our life goes. Right? So until we understand what this mind is all about, we will never understand what life is all about. And because of that, the mind is an endless loop of evolution. So life continue to evolve based on the movement of our mind. So as we all know, as we are all aware of, we are conscious, we are able to communicate, we are able to understand language, we are able to recognize each other. It's all based on our mind, right? So our mind is everything. Without the mind, there is no conception of who we are in a way, right? There's no conception of what the universe is, what existence is, because there is no mind, right? So the mind is everything in a way, right? Without the mind, you can say there's no universe, right? Because there's no mind to experience it. So it is so important to understand what this mind is. Oftentimes, we identify ourselves with this mind, as we have talked often, frequently in previous episodes. Many people identify, of course, themselves with the body, with the physical body, and then, of course, the way we think, the way we feel, right? So what we think, what we are doing, what we are, let's say we are listening, we are talking, or we are walking, we are whatever, we have this sense of I am doing it, all right? I am doing this, I am doing that, I'm doing all the things that is happening right now, okay? So there's a sense of I in doing all of these things here. Every single one of us on this planet that we are walking, that we are laughing and crying right now, okay, and suffering right now, there's an I. There's an I in the middle of everything, that I am this, I am that, okay? So as you and I, we sit down here, okay, let's talk it more about this I am, okay? So I am happy, I am angry, I am upset, and all that, right? Okay, so to a lot of us, when we are feeling something or whatnot, we always, even we're not talking out loud, we say, I am sitting, okay, I am watching, I am enjoying, I am mad, because there's a sense of I that is experiencing, that is doing all of this thing, right? There's an I that is doing the sitting, I doing the listening, there's an I that's doing the watching, seeing, there's an I that's doing the hearing and all that. So there's an I. So I have touched on this before also. Okay, and of course we have talked about who am I, right, in other episodes. So this is very similar to what we have covered before. So I guess the subject that we are talking about here is that you are not doing it, we are not doing it. So it's the mind that is doing it, right? So that is different, right? Different than the I am happy, but in actuality is that the mind is happy, okay? So these two differentiation is very important, is very critical, believe it or not, although it it doesn't sound much different at all, but in reality, in actuality, it's quite important and it's quite different. That when we say that, let's say I am happy, okay, and the other phrase is say the mind is happy, okay. So let's look into that. Okay, I am happy versus the mind is happy. When we say I am happy, it implies that I is doing the being happy, right? That I am doing the happiness to have, I am doing it, okay? I am happy. So there's an I that is doing the happy. And the other phrase says the mind is happy, okay? So when we say that the mind is happy, it takes away the I, okay? It takes away the I, or we only concentrate on the mind. The mind is happy. So what is it? Okay, if you say that I am happy, okay, let's say if you sit there right now and in a neutral mode, in a way, in a equanimity, okay, there's neither no feeling, nothing. So you sit there, okay, and as you sit there and you say, okay, I am going, let's say that you're gonna say, I am going to make myself happy. I am going to laugh, okay? Or I am going to cry, or I am going to whatever, okay? So if you just sit there and say, okay, I am happy, but you just saying it, but it's not, all right? You don't have that happiness feeling inside. Versus when, let's say, you listen to some kind of, you hear some kind of joke or something, or all of a sudden, when you hear something funny, you just burst out laughing, right? It's just automatic. So are you saying, in that particular moment, you say, I am happy doing that. So I am doing the laughing, or it is automatic, or it is spontaneous, right? Because when you hear something, boom, it's, you're just laughing. So that means happy, right? So I am happy, or the mind is happy. All right. So think about that. Okay. So the doing is very important, that we have to look at. Who is doing all of this commotion? Okay. When a lot of time that we say I am this, I am that, right? Is it really the I that is doing it? Okay. Now, if the I is doing it, does the I needs the mind, right? Then the I will need the mind, right? The mind, whatever, but the I can do, the happy or whatnot without the mind, which is not possible, right? We need to have a mind. So it's the mind. The mind is doing all these things without us knowing, and we are confused with what the mind is doing as I am doing it, as somebody doing it. Okay, so as we all know, that our mind, our emotion, and all that. Okay, it happens that we are not doing it. Okay, we keep thinking that we are doing it. All right, but in reality, in the true reality of things, our mind change according to the experiences that the mind encounter. Okay, what we see, that is the mind through seeing, right? What we hear, that is the mind that associate with hearing. What we smell, what we taste, how we feel, that is the mind that associate with all these, the different senses of the body, right? So the mind does all this interaction with everything, okay, with everything inside and outside. So whatever happens, the mind, the ordinary mind, the of every people, the mind just act and react naturally, okay, according to what the mind encounters, according to what the mind experience, right? So when you see a movie, let's say, whatever scene, the scene change from scary scene to happy scene to adventurous scene and all that, and your mind change, according to the scene, and you are not doing it. You see, the mind just react to what the mind see. Okay, so and as the mind react to what the mind experience, seeing, hearing, smelling, right, tasting, um, without us having to do anything, okay, and because thing happens by itself automatically, we tend to uh, get confused with all this changing here because it happens continuously, all right, and almost at the same time. The experience that this is happening is one great experience that we have because we have six senses, right, all together. The five senses here plus the chitta, the mano, right, or the mind itself, the central mind, all which is we call the sixth sense. All of these senses here that is working simultaneously to experience the universe. When it happens like this, so fast, there's a sense of feeling that there's an I somewhere in there that is experiencing, that is doing all of this, all right, doing all the seeing, the hearing, and all that, the hearing, the smelling, the touch. But it's one great happening that is happening continuously right now. Okay, you and I and everyone else that is become conscious, and then when we awake during our waking time here, all of these experience going on without us having to do anything, without no effort that we have to do things. It's not that. It's an incredible happening by itself. Okay, it's this all of this experience, all that you see, the seeing, the mind conceive and perceive the information, right, and allow the mind to see, right. When you hear it, the receiving, the perception that come to the eardrum when all the condition is proper, then there's hearing arise, right. You're not doing the hearing. Okay, hearing arise by itself when the condition is right. Okay, so and that applies to all the senses. Whatever condition that that comes to contact with this interpret all the experiences, and then boom, voila, there you are. Okay, so all of this incredible thing that is happening by itself, right. There's nothing there's an I that is doing it, right. So I'm sure the question say, oh, what about okay, let's say I want to go someplace, right. So there's an I, so there I am going someplace. Okay, so I'm going to walk, I'm going to take a shower, I'm going to get a drink, I'm going to eat. See, that's an I doing. So who is that? Okay, that is based on all of that you just said there. Okay, that is all based on desire. Okay, there is desire behind everything that we do. All right, so there are desire that is just does not lead to any suffering because the desire is like a requirement. Okay, so for the human body as it exists, as it grows, okay, the human body is automatically grow by itself, all right, with, of course, with the food, and the food is required by us, by our body, our stomach, creating the feeling of hungry, right? We are not doing the hungry, okay? It's not that I am doing the hungry. No, the body, in order for it to survive, in order for it to grow, it needs food. So it sends signal that we interpret it as the word hungry or thirsty. Okay, so the body does all this. The body gives out order. Okay, the body gives out order. Okay, hungry. So now when the body is hungry, it sends out the order. It sends out the message to the brain. So that is called a natural desire. So the brain has to do something, right? Otherwise, the body is gonna keep demanding until if you don't provide it, and then boom, kaput, right? So the brain responds to the body by order the legs to move, in orders finger, hands to reach out for food. Okay, so but this is happening by itself, and we think that, oh, let me go get a drink. But what we are not aware of is that the word "let me go get a drink" comes from an order. Okay, an order from within, that I need, that the stomach, the body needs a drink or needs food. So it sends out information, and just boom, you just go. Okay, and so it's almost like it's almost like a robot thing, but it's not. But all of this thing here is happening based on the requirement, based on the need of the body. The body orders us to do this, to do that, right? When it's hot, the body try to figure out, okay, send the signal, okay, it's hot. So now it sends a signal to the brain and make the brain figure out, okay, what does it need to do. And of course, and also when it's hot, what does the body do? The body sweat, right, in order to protect itself. So do you say, I'm going to sweat to do to you don't do that, right? We are not doing the sweating. Okay, you cannot, if you're in the sit in the hot sun, okay, the body is going to sweat automatically by itself. You cannot stop it, right? So but when we're not aware of that, we say, I am sweating. It's like there's an I doing it, but there is no I doing it. It's an incredible phenomenon that the body is taking care of itself. When it regulates the temperature, the body temperature and all that, without us having to do anything. Okay, when it feels hot, so it creates the moisture to cover itself as best as it can, right? Try to cool it, to cool itself down. Okay, and with that, the body requires water, so it push the mind, say, okay, let's go walk, grab water and drink. So all of these little things that we do, right, we say, I am doing it. But if you sit back and think about this through and through, there is no I doing it. It's all based on the requirement of, of the physical body. Okay, so that is at least at the base level of our needs. Okay, our need is food, drink, shelter, and all that, and that's the basic needs of a physical body. The body does all that, right? And for example, as we are sitting right here, right now, right? How many breaths you have taken already so far? Countless. Are you doing it? Am I doing it? No. The body is doing it automatically by itself. You see, It's not like I am breathing. No, there's no I doing the breathing. The body is doing this, all right, by itself automatically. Okay, automatically. And that's why that is one of the things that, of course, many of you have heard about the breath meditation, is that we go back to understand this body by just observing the breath, right? And after a while, then once you become one, right, becomes one with the breath itself, just observing the breath, the breathe in and breathe out, then there's no I doing it. Then you become the breath itself, right? Then you become, oh, it's just breathe in and breathe out. There's no one doing it. Okay, so some of you have reached a certain level at some time of, probably when you become one with your breath, you become relaxed, right? And then just, oh, okay, there's nobody doing anything. So the point that I'm trying to make in here is that, is there anyone doing anything? Okay, are you doing all this the feeling that we have, right? All kinds of feeling, whether good or bad, it doesn't matter. Happy, joy, ecstasy, or crying, upset, angry, mad, frustrated, and all that. Who is doing that? It's the mind that is reacting to different things. Okay, and there's no you doing any of this. The mind just react to the different experience, different scenario, and it change from one experience to the next. Without us knowing, we become that. Okay, without us waking up to this incredible happening. Okay, of course, for most of the people, people identify themselves with those emotions. Okay, when they're angry, like that, right? And they will say all kinds of regretful words and do all kinds of regretful things, because there's a strong feeling of I, that I am doing this, I am doing that. Okay, and that is very unfortunate for most of us. It is fortunate for a few who come to realize, who come across this incredible teaching, right? But from the Buddha, that to when the Buddha break things down for us to look into this phenomenon, into the mind itself, then we become realize that, wow, we've been sleeping all along for many lives, just like there's a Buddha, who have gone through many lives. So as have we. Just from one mind to the next, the mind keeps changing, keep evolving, running after different kinds of desire, greed, and all that. Okay, without knowing that there is no I. So because there is I, which there is desire. Okay, and it keeps clinging on to the next thing, right? Because of that, of the blindfold that we have, the ignorance that we have, that there's an I exist somewhere. Okay, so when we come to realize that there isn't anyone doing it, that there's no I doing it, all these things that we cling on to becomes, it will start to disappear as you understand this. A lot of weight on the shoulder, a lot of stress, a lot of pressure on you will start to lift. Okay, start to disappear a little bit at a time, as you start to understand more and more about non-self, right? About this no I in the middle of anything, just all things happen. okay, through the experience, through the mind. Okay, so again, once we start to recognize that, and of course, for many people, when we have issue in life, right, we have problem in life, and then once one period in life happen, and then it changed to something new, okay, something better, you have a better life, and then a little bit after that, oh, there's more problem, okay, so suffering keep coming up, and then goes away a little bit, and then coming up again, and it goes away a little bit, and then coming up again. So there's a sense of I that is suffer so much through life, right? Oh, I went through a lot of things, and still I am still going through a lot of things, and I will be going through a lot of things because that I is clinging on to this this self, to this emotion, that the emotion that happens is who we are. That when the I identify itself with that emotion of who he or she is, okay, he is the happy one, or she is the unhappy one, or whatnot, and then this I will never end, this cycle of suffering, from one episode of life to the next. Okay, you have a fight with your children, and then after a couple of weeks, okay, go away, and then you have a fight with your spouse, and then it goes away, and then you have a fight with your brother or sister, goes away, you have a fight with your boyfriend or girlfriend, and then you break up, and then you have another one, and then you're happy again, and then all of a sudden, oh, clash again. And you go through all of this in life with some kind of burden. You say, oh, it's just an I doing all this, okay, you don't listen to me, I am this, I telling you this, why you don't listen, there's I, there's so many things that we all do, right? But without understanding that all this thinking here that is happening in the mind is the mind reaction to different things, and the mind is having some kind of attachment, some kind of desire behind it, and when the desire is not met, the mind produce all kinds of unwholesome emotion and all that. Once we can identify this scenario, we can detach ourselves from this mind that is going on, right? The mind that cling on to this, I am this, I am rich, I am poor, okay, I am powerful, I am smart, I am stupid, right? I am this, I am. Let go of all that, because all of that thinking is the mind that is doing the thinking. Again, right? It's the mind that is doing the thinking, and it's based on the mind desire. And once we can step back and look at this mind, we say, this mind here is just an experience, and it's look at experience and interpret certain situation, whatever based on experience before and all that. And this experience here comes and go, and it just happened by itself, right? The reaction, okay? You cannot make yourself laugh, you cannot make yourself cry, okay? You cannot make yourself upset, angry, or jumping with joy, right? To everything, unless there's condition that is right for the mind to be that, right? So the mind is the reacting mechanism, okay? When something happen, that the mind look at the situation is good, then the mind just go happy, and then if the mind doesn't like something, the mind just go boom upset, okay? There's no I doing all that, okay? You cannot do it. the mind doing it by itself. Okay, that's the important point. The mind is doing it by itself. So once you can detach yourself from that, then you can see, okay, the mind has been running the show all along. Right? The mind's been running the show all along. But now I can see you now. I can see what the mind is doing. All right. So now when the mind reacts, you say, no, that's not peaceful. Okay. Now you want, because a life, to have a comfortable, decent, good life is a life that is calm, is at peace, right? We don't want to have war. We don't want to have argument. We don't want to have, fight and all that. Everyone want to be happy, of course, right? But what is that happiness that we keep looking for? It's because of when we looking for happiness because of desire, that create more problem. But if we let go without any chasing after things, then we start to realize, okay, so happiness is not there. It's, once you let go of all this clinging and just observe the mind that is happening, and there's a sense of peaceful inside. Okay, there's a sense of peace. Okay, oh, so if I let go of that, then there's no suffering. Somebody say something, if let go of whatever they say, then then now you're training the mind to not react naturally to what the mind hear, and then becomes okay. It becomes all right. Okay, because the mind is something that we need to train. So that's why the Buddha's teaching is conquer yourself, meaning conquer your mind. Because if you don't understand this mind, then you go with the mind, whatever feeling. But when you understand the mind, go like that. Cultivating the mind is to bring that mind back. No, we don't want to do that. Then that's how you have peace. That's how we achieve our own happiness, and that's how we achieve true true happiness inside, instead of going after all that and then you're still not happy. That's why a lot of people have so much money but they're not happy. It's because they identify themselves with the mind, which is the ego mind, the status, the power, and all. That's why they never have a true happiness. Yes, they have luxury, they have material, but true happiness can never be found. Right? So remember, we are not doing anything. Okay, remember, you're not doing it. It's the mind that is doing it. Once we discover that mind, what is the mind doing, then we can realize true happiness by not letting the mind doing whatever it wants. Okay, because after all, life is the mind, right? Without the mind, there's no life. So life and mind is the same, but we have to understand, we have to cultivate the mind. Okay, just like we grow a vegetable garden, we have to cultivate it. We have to plug out the weed. Okay, the same thing. Cultivate this wild mind, right, to be a wholesome mind. And once the mind is wholesome, that's your peace right there. Okay, so that's what I like to share with y'all today. Until next time, I like to pay respect to the triple gems. I like to pay respect to the Buddha. I like to pay respect to the Dharma. And I like to pay respect to the Sangha. Namaste, everyone. And please, if you like, leave me a comment, what you think, suggestion or whatnot. Right. Namaste.